so I was very pleased and honored to be asked to share a little bit today. Just by means of context, I'm 71. I was 14 during the Six-Day War in 1967, and I remember it so vividly. And it was a quick 6 days. It was a military rout, not even just a victory. And it was maybe the beginning of a lot of things that could have been done better, but that's a different discussion. But it felt very biblical in scope, kind of like we were living through some sort of incredible. I remember the Seder the next year, the language just jumped off the page of salvation. And so I think that my generation got used to kind of quick wars with outcomes that were clear. And here we are, it's almost 3 months of a war that feels very like there's not a military solution here. And it's just, I find myself some days waking up early morning in the dark, it's so dark this time of year, and just thinking of what it must be like for displaced people in Israel and displaced people in Gaza, and feeling so hard. It's so hard to find hope, and it's so hard to figure out what to do. I think I share that with probably everybody here. So there's more light coming, and I decided today to share the liturgy that is in the Machzor for Yom Kippur. It's the Shaviti. When the prayer books were being edited, it was a very long process. It was more than a decade. My husband, David, who many of you know, was the editor. He did not promote me as artist. He did not think that was a good look. And apparently, I just learned this recently, apparently the Prayer Book Commission overruled him and commissioned me to do the artwork. And it was a big step forward for a prayer book art. I mean, to have art in a prayer book was a very new idea. And it happened that the artist was a female, so I was able to inject some of my own thoughts, or my own takes on things. The artwork was meant not to be something to look at because it was pretty, but as an alternative form of prayer prompting. So the Shaviti idea started in the first experimental volume, which was just for Friday night, to at the beginning of the Amidah, have some of the liturgy of the Amidah laid out in a traditional Shaviti form. Typically, the Shaviti is something that usually went on the wall, and that would be the direction you would pray. It's from a verse that says, I will put God before me at all times, with kind of Shivion means balance or equality. So it's like I'm always balancing by having God in front of me. And then we updated it by using English and expand. The first one was pretty traditional, and then they got less traditional with each volume. So we're going to look at the one from Yom Kippur. So some of you are familiar with Kol HaNeshama and know this. The concept of gates becomes more and more prevalent as you get to Ne'ilah, which is the closing of the gates, the idea that the gates are going to close. But there's also this idea that the gates are always a little bit open. And if you'll notice the center verse, it says, the gates are open in every hour, and whoever seeks to enter may come in. And if you look in the middle Hebrew, it says, V'chol mi shemivakeshet likanes tikanes. Whoever seeks to enter may enter, and that's the feminine verb. Maybe somebody can point to the verb where it's mivakeshet. Instead of the traditional one is mivakesh, that would be the male form. And I decided, enough with that. We've been using the male form for 2,000 years. Let's have a female form. So it's grammatically correct. It just is female. So nobody has ever, to my knowledge, said anything about that. It just was normalized, I guess, by doing that. So the idea here is kind of borrowing, we live in two civilizations, so the idea of it being a new year, it's a secular year, but the light is expanding. So hopefully we can take some of the ideas of a new year and a new beginning forward. And I think it's probably time for the prompts.
Wonderful. Thank you, Betsy. Do you want to read them to us?
Sure. So my first prompt is based on that gate. What gates are you seeking to enter as the light expands? And that opening maybe is enlarging so gradually, so subtly, but it's definitely happening. And the second one, I didn't read that line, but that was one of the lines in the Shiviti. It's from the liturgy. Ata Yodea Raze Olam, you, God, know the mysteries of the world. So what mysteries are you exploring as this new year opens up?